Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host of the Leaders Lab podcast. Today, I have another repeat with one of the most amazing friends I've made on the podcast lately, Joanne Sapers. Oh my God, we had an incredible conversation first when we talked, and then on the podcast last week. And I knew right away that I had to bring her back because she has something incredible. She's got an incredible path, and along the path, she accumulated experience in a field that make her one of the most qualified, not just women, but people in the world in that topic. And that is the topic of marriage, because she's been married not once, not twice, not three times, but what, 55 times? No, I'm joking, not 55, but four times. And
Five times.
oh, five, my bad, my bad. There you go, five times. See, I wasn't far, 55 wasn't far. Okay, five.
I'm in my fifth. I'm in the fifth, which
All
is
right,
actually
hopefully last one,
definitely. Yes.
All right, a little bit about her. She's based in Rhode Island, on the east coast of the US, beautiful place. And yeah, she's very heart-centered. We connected on the serving circle, and she does beautiful things. She creates intuitive design and art that come straight from the heart. And she's got a lot of experiences that also helped her with that awakening. She died once, and she was also in a relationship where the person wanted literally to kill her. She was able to extract herself and learn the valuable lesson that this incident was to teach her. And yeah, she's been blessed with phenomenal gifts, phenomenal bits of wisdom, and this is what she's doing. This is what she did in episode number 1 that we did last week. Amazing, amazing, amazing episode with her. And today, at the end of the call last week, I just looked at her and said, Joanne, would you be open to do an episode on your 5 marriages? She said, oh, absolutely, let's do it. It's gonna be fun. I said, no, it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna be a phenomenal one, because that's something that we're gonna have once again a heart-to-heart conversation and just hear your stories. So, and she kindly and graciously accepted, and here she is. So, Joanne, my wonderful friends, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Payman. It was such an honor to be with you last week. And I know today already feels the same. You're such an uplifter with your heart and your soul, my friend.
Thank you.
The minute you start talking, I feel your heart, and I just feel so grateful to be here with you today.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Before we start, for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit. Who's Joanne as a person, as a human being, as a woman?
So she's as a woman that she didn't really know what she wanted in the beginning. She didn't know what she could receive, and she didn't know what she could give, and she didn't know how worthy she was. And she thought she could fix men because there were lots of wonderful men out there, and she saw the good in everybody, which I still think, I know I do see the good in everybody, yet now I have extraordinary boundaries, which is what I teach. So being someone that grew up and I was physically, emotionally, and sexually abused by my grandmother's maid for the first 10 years of my life, I didn't know how to circumvent life. And I chose men that I thought seemed really nice, and they just needed more support and more love. I didn't realize that it was me that was looking for the love, and me that wanted the love, and that I knew how to love, but I didn't know the worthy part of love. But my dad that transitioned at 99 years old, he was someone that knew how to love. So I watched him and my mom. So I had a beautiful, beautiful mentor in my life, for many, many years, for my dad to be 99 years young when he transitioned. So I knew what love could feel like. And that's what I was really looking for. A man that would want to treat me the way my dad treated my mother. So I think that was really interesting, which is true, I think, with a lot of my clients, right? We're all the teachers and we're all the students at the same time. And many clients that I have worked with, many women, whatever they grew up with, that's what they thought they would get. And even the stuff that didn't work out, of course, that's what we learn our lessons from. So we can Yeah.
You know, you said something beautiful and powerful. You said that at first you didn't know what to do. You didn't know what you wanted. But now you have extremely, boundaries. You know that this life is a school. We come here to learn lessons and grow and then share those gifts to others. Would you say that this was one of the lessons for you to learn in this lifetime, which is to set boundaries and then help others do the same?
Absolutely. And to believe, I would add to that, payment, to learn how to really believe in yourself.
Mm.
Which I know you have learned.
Oh, yes.
And to be there, to love yourself so deeply that you are so kind and compassionate to yourself, which is what you give to the world.
Mm.
Because you can't give to the world if you can't give it to yourself.
Absolutely. What was holding you back? You said one of the things that you learned was to believe in yourself. So what was the one thing that's holding you back in the first part of your life before you were able to overcome that and spread your wings and fly like the beautiful bird that you are?
Interesting question. So
Mm.
I'm going to just tell you intuitively what comes to my heart and my
Yes,
mind.
absolutely.
I'm not going to question it because
Mhm.
I always feel that our heart knows.
Totally.
And to answer your question to that is I was always testing the universe. I wanted proof that I was worthy.
Mm.
I wanted proof that I was special and that I was seen, because for decades I wanted to be invisible way
Mm.
back then, because I didn't know how. I wouldn't have used the words that back then, but I didn't know how to protect myself emotionally because I was just all in. And then for me in my 20s, I wanted what I wanted when I wanted. So like, oh my God, if I had known what I know now, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
I I'm glad I'm glad I know what I know now.
Oh,
But
yes.
I was always testing and I didn't even understand what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's um and I always thought I was just looking for love. I met someone, I found nice qualities that they had, you know.
So speaking of
I'll
that,
let you ask the questions because I know you have questions.
oh, absolutely. Questions you want? I got plenty of those for you. Um, Great segue. So now you talked about love. So tell us about your very first marriage, your very first experience. Tell us about how did that happen? How did you guys meet and
Absolutely. So
all the good stuff? Good and
I met
juicy.
him at my best friend's wedding,
Okay.
and he was my best friend's um first cousins,
Mhm.
first cousin, first
Oh, wow.
cousin. Yeah. So the kind of sad thing is I brought the first divorce in their family line. So I'm laughing, but it wasn't on purpose. It just, and he was a very good human being.
Mhm.
And we were both we were both in our 20s, but we were young emotionally. So neither one of us knew how to have a healthy relationship. And he was more of a brother than for us being husband and wife, because I didn't even know how to be a wife. I didn't even know how to be a partner. Forget the wife. I didn't know how to be a good partner because I wasn't a good partner to myself. Do I feel like I wish that I could go back and change things? No, because everything, just like you said, this is a this
So,
is this is a playground
yeah.
for each one of us. And it's a learning place, going from one thing to the next and learning, and not in a negative way. It's not meant to be negative. It's meant to be whatever it is.
You
And
know,
that was my path.
I just saw a quote this morning that says, everyone you meet is for a purpose, either to learn a lesson or to grow. Either way, you win. So, sorry,
You do.
either it's a blessing or a lesson. Either way, you grow.
And even the ones that are the lesson, once you move out of that lesson, it's a blessing.
I would argue that those that are the lessons are even the greatest gifts, because that's when we
Yeah.
truly grow. Sure, at the time it hurts. We want to kill them, some of them, not all of them, but in the heat of the moment. But then when we step back, say, wow, thank you.
Exactly. And I was helping a client today and she was crying and she's upset about some different things. And she's in that lesson place.
Yeah.
And what I said to her, as tough as it can feel, because it does, like you just said, that's like the last thing we want to be going through. And yet the other side of it that we get to, and we can only get to the other side when we can really surrender to that lesson, as you know, surrender to that lesson in a way that, okay, I'm here for my highest good. And I'm here for the good of all humanity, where however I'm meant to be here with this, I'm willing to go that path.
Absolutely. So how long did that first marriage last?
I was trying to remember because we lived together for 2.5 years and we
Okay.
were married for 2.5 years. And I think that was the legal part, because I think, so what happened was we got married, I remember, in November.
Mm.
And immediately when we got married, I thought, oh, you can use whatever you want to say after that. I realized we would have been better off just best friends, brother, sister, brother, sister kind of relationship. And I ended it. I ended it kindly, and we did a no fault divorce. And I said, in 5 years, you're going to thank me. Like, I already knew that. So for everybody, we are all intuitive.
Yeah.
And that comment, when I said to him, in 5 years, because at 20, again, I was a young 24-year-old back then. So I didn't even understand really and grasp what that really meant. He would go his way, I'd go my way. And right when we went for the no fault divorce, we went out for dinner and to the movies that night together, and it was, and he wanted to stay being friends, but that doesn't really work because you move on.
Sure.
And he got married, and I understand he's happy, and he's, and that's, I want for everyone that I know in this lifetime to be happy. That's what I want.
Are you still in touch with him?
No, but if I talk to that friend, I'll say, how's he doing? And she'll tell me. I said, good. I want everything to work out for him.
So before getting married with this man, you said both of you were very young. What was the reaction of the family? Did someone step in and tell you guys, maybe it's too early for you, or maybe?
Well, what we said, because we were living in California, and we decided, well, I said, you know what, I'd like to get married. I don't know. And he said, okay. And I said, we'll try it out. We'll plan a great vacation, which we did for the honeymoon. And if it doesn't work, we'll have a great honeymoon.
Where do you guys go?
Oh my God, wait till you hear this.
Don't tell me Vegas.
No. Listen, we started off in California, and what was that? American Airlines had a special that year. For $200, you could travel anywhere on American Airlines for 2 weeks. You can get on and off as many times as you want.
Really?
Yes. So this is what we did. We got married. So we lived in California.
You still have those kind of deals?
Not too many.
I would be on it like right now.
I know, you'd be gone. You said, that's the end of the podcast, Joey, and we're done.
I'd be back to the US, Canada. Yes.
Exactly. And you'd be in Canada, you'd be everywhere, right? Everywhere.
Yeah.
We started off in California. We got married because I grew up in Massachusetts. So we got married where I grew up in Newton, Mass. And then we went on our honeymoon, and we had to go like really strange routes because we were taking all American. But somehow we ended up getting to, let's say, Puerto Rico. And from Puerto Rico, we got to St. Lucia.
Oh.
And St. Lucia, did we go anywhere else? And then I think to St. Lucia, we made our way back through really weird flying and ended up back in California. And then we lived in Alaska. And we lived there for a couple of months and that was fun.
So in
But,
that deal, how many places did you guys get to
in
experience?
that deal, let's see, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, which is pretty good for $200.
Wait a second, $200, as many places you want to go within what? Within 1 month, 2 months?
2 weeks. I think we had
Oh,
2
2
weeks.
weeks. Oh, okay. Still not
But
bad.
that's still, you go up and down as many times as you need to.
Yeah. Was it within the North America or worldwide?
I don't think it was worldwide. Oh, wait a minute, we went to St. Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
St. Lucia, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico. And you could stay there as long as you want, any of those places. So it was a lot.
That's a phenomenal deal. I wish I
I
was
know.
deals now. Come on, American Airlines. I flew with
Yeah.
friends when I came here from Toronto to JFK on the way to Malaysia, but it was good. Good
It
airline.
was
I like it. Just trying to get
good.
some
I
profit.
know. I can
Better than
tell.
United, you know?
Now United did well when we went.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah,
They're good. I'm joking. I'm joking. They're good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Wow. So after that trip, what happened after that? Oh, you mentioned you lived in Alaska. How the hell did you guys end up in Alaska?
Well,
Especially
we
from
were in
California.
California. He was going for a PhD in city planning. So
Ah,
he was working there for 2 months. So we went and stayed in Anchorage, Alaska, and then he went and flew to some of the smaller areas.
was that during the winter or during the summer?
Oh no, it was summer. It was beautiful.
Oh, that
It
doesn't
was
count.
June,
That doesn't count.
I know, June 21st, and then I left around August 20th. Yeah, it was
Okay.
magnificent.
So you didn't get to experience the real charm of Alaska, eh?
No, I experienced what I loved. I did see a giant bear track when we were on Mount McKinley. We hiked in Mount McKinley.
Bear?
A bear track, yeah, big bear, big
Oh, wow.
bear print. I didn't see
Wow.
the bear, but I saw the footprint.
Whoa, scary. Be careful.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man.
we talk a lot at that point.
Okay, so after Alaska, 2 months, and then
And then we were back in California. And then we moved to Oregon.
okay.
And we lived in Oregon so we must have been in California. And we got our divorce in Oregon. That's where we were living at the time.
So
And
what
then I
was
stayed longer.
what was
What's
the
that?
moment? What was the moment that you felt? What for you guys to divorce? Was that a specific event that made you think, okay, this is it, or was it something gradual?
It was more gradual and I knew it in my heart.
Did he also
Yeah.
knew it? Did he also share the same feeling?
No,
Okay,
no, and that was the hard part.
so he was heartbroken and all that, and okay.
But,
Mm.
he picked up his life and is very happy now. So that
That's
part's
what
beautiful.
matters, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what matters.
So, given that life is a school and we learn lessons, what was that first experience in marriage taught you? What did you learn from that first experience? The number one
No,
lesson.
you want to hear this? I was going to tell you not much.
Hey,
Hey,
it's just a
no,
warm
I'm
up.
being
It doesn't count.
candid.
Just a warm up. Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm being candid. I'm being candid. I have always felt like it's easy for me to meet people to love.
Mm,
Like, and so I wasn't worried about meeting someone new. And my challenge was I didn't know who I was.
yeah.
So finding the right partner for me made it more difficult because I would put my energy into them, not myself
Mm.
back then.
So was it easy for you to move on and bounce back? Or, I mean, for you, yes, because you're a social butterfly, but
I'm really not. I'm an introvert extrovert. Like with
Ah.
someone like you that I really like, I'm the extrovert.
Mm,
But even I'm definitely not an extrovert, a complete extrovert.
So back then, if you liked a guy, would you communicate to him or just wait for him to make the first move, or were
I
you-
think subliminally I would communicate,
okay.
I didn't, because if you had asked me at another time, so no, I would say, no, he just came towards me or just wanted to get to know me. But, now when I see and I think about any of my relationships, I know I had a big part in it.
You were giving him the biggest eyes, the biggest smile,
Probably, right? Yeah.
like this.
Never know.
Probably
Never
don't
know.
do it.
Back then, back then.
Yeah, yeah. So then moving on from this, from the first, how long did it take you to move on from that first one and to?
I moved back to the East
second?
Coast after that. So I stayed in, I wanted to get to know myself a little bit better. So I stayed in Oregon for a little while by myself for probably another year and a half or two. And then I was ready to move back to the East Coast where I grew up. So I've lived about 38 different places. So
And
that was since I left home,
this little guy that's my MTA most trusted advisor is telling me that you're not stopping. They're probably gonna reach 50 places by the time,
No, you know what? I've lived in Rhode Island now for a long time. The part of me that is a little antsy is the part that wants to be traveling again.
There you
Yet
go.
I love being where I am, and I love my life now. And I love my relationship with God, with my higher self. That's the biggest difference with everything. And you know that literally changes.
Everything.
It doesn't change who you are. It allows you to be who you really are.
Love that. T-shirt worthy. All right, I'm gonna
Yes,
write this
you can
down.
write that one down. I'll create the design for it.
All right, awesome.
Message it to me. We'll get that going.
Say that again. What was the sentence again?
I don't remember. How's that?
I have to watch it again. Okay, we rewind it. Okay,
You have
okay.
to watch it. Because when it comes out from the heart that way,
Yeah.
it just comes out.
Absolutely.
And if we were talking slowly, it would have stayed in a little longer. But we're just like really in that conversation.
And the flow, yes. So now, tell us about number 2. How did it happen? How did you guys meet? Oh boy, I feel it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. So in the United States at the time, there was a Bali's fitness club.
Mhm.
And so I met him in the jacuzzi, in the hot tub.
Beautiful. All right.
I forgot about that.
So is this what you're teaching your clients? You want to meet the man of your life? Go to the jacuzzi at the.
Right. I haven't
It's
thought
just
about
like
that for years. I haven't thought about it for years.
Make sure you bring some tequila shots with you just for good measures. Joking. All right.
Yeah. So that's how we met, and we started to go out. And at the time, it's an interesting time for me because I was going out with 5 guys. And I decided I wasn't going to get serious with any of them. So for me, that meant I wasn't going to be physical with anybody. That was what I said. And I would just decide who I wanted to get to know. And then that would be the person I would have a monogamous relationship with. So I don't remember exactly the other 4 guys, but I know I chose the one that was the least healthiest. The, the one that needed the most support possible, and that I could help, and I could help this man see how special he was.
You were looking for a project, basically.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that everything that I wanted lived within me. I didn't know that back then.
So what made the other guys not qualify and this guy?
They probably were more secure, and this
out.
one I thought I could help more, and I could say that from a place of really caring. I knew about his past, and I said, I want to show you how special you are and what a good person you are. And again, I didn't know myself during that time. And the gift that I received from that time is my beautiful daughter.
So from the moment you guys met, how long before you guys get married?
He wanted to get married within 6 months. It freaked out my family.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll share a part of the story. I do want.
Yes.
So fast forward, my daughter got married. Okay. So fast forward with, and it's the dinner before the wedding, the special dinner. So I see him, I hadn't seen him for 18 years. And I had already decided, wait longer than 18 years, but however many years, a lot of years. And I had already decided how I was going to be.
Mm.
And it was really beautiful because we just let everything that, we didn't get into the past, didn't get into the stories. And when you can let go of the stories, that I had already done the complete forgiveness thing for decades. And I know he had on his side, it was a little bit different from what my daughter was telling me. And I told her, it's fine for him to come. There's no drama. So if he wants drama, there's no drama on the side. And it was just total peace. And we sat across from each other the next morning, and my husband was with me at the time, and he was across, and he was with his girlfriend. And it was just so nice because you know what? Those lessons, life goes on. There is a way for everything to heal. Everything. There isn't anything in life with extraordinary boundaries that cannot heal. No matter where we are, no matter what's happened.
As long as we overcome our ego and stop holding grudges.
Absolutely. And the grudges, as you know, affect the individual that's holding the grudge way more than the other person.
Absolutely.
And yet all of it, any grudge, whether it's in us or towards the other person, messes up this universe, our world. So that's the freedom.
That's the one thing that my parents, God bless their soul, was always telling us and emphasizing on that. Never hold grudges. Like, for example, one moment my mother or my father can be scolding us, and the next moment giving us a hug, some chocolate, give us some money, go buy ice cream or whatever. Or even with friends, they would get an argument in the heat of the moment, and 5 minutes later, hugging, apologizing.
That's beautiful.
That was the lesson. Always. Never hold grudges. Sure, in the heat of the moment, we may see things that we don't mean, but then step back and make the first move. Hey, I'm sorry. That's the one thing that's one of the most powerful lessons I learned from them, because I see them do that time and time and time again. And as a result of that, now I don't hold grudges. I forgive people, but I don't forget for whatever they do. Because the more you hold it in yourself, just like you said, the more it hurts you. It stops you from moving forward.
Any negative feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
That is it. And I think that's a tough one for all of us humans, because the way we make decisions is judging something. And yet the judgment, if it's coming from a different place, with like there's good judgment and there's judgment. I think there should be another word between judgment and judgment. You know what I mean?
Judgment.
Yeah, judgment. There's the judgment that that creates the energy of meanness, let's say. And then there's judgment that is helping you to decide, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And that's a good thing.
Yes.
I just need a different word for it.
Just make up whatever you want.
Okay, you got it. I shall do that.
Awesome. So, and then what caused marriage number 2 to derail?
I realized he had some parts of his personality that I was not going to accept.
Like what?
So, because he's human, like all of us, what I will say is he didn't know himself well, and I didn't know myself well, and I didn't know how to have, I'm going to say, I didn't know how to own what I knew to be my truth.
Mm.
Because I wanted to be loved and I wanted to be liked and I wanted to be approved of. So when I realized some qualities that he had that were not acceptable for me within my core, I realized I was not going to stay married to him.
Was that the first step in your journey of affirming yourself, standing for yourself, and establishing barriers?
Yes, because the first husband was not mean at all. And not that he was, not that my second husband was mean, but he did, my first husband didn't quote unquote do anything wrong, right? We
Mm.
just really weren't meant to be married together as partners. My second husband, I didn't know how to communicate in a way that would be healthy, and he didn't know, so I couldn't protect myself emotionally.
Mm.
And he didn't know a healthy way to communicate to me, with me at that time.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that,
How
I mean,
long?
that
Go ahead.
those are the pretty intense things that I know women go through all the time. There's nothing unusual. The
Yeah.
most unusual part of my story is that I was married 5 times. Beyond that, so many women that I've talked to, and they can be on the outside very, very abundant and very prosperous, let's say financially, and
Mm.
way up there when it comes to business. But yet when it comes to the relationship part, they don't feel the way they want to feel about themselves.
Wow. That's true. That's true. How long did that second marriage last?
I want to say 2.5 years.
Okay. Wow. So I'm seeing a little pattern here. So first marriage, 2.5 years, second marriage, 2.5 years. That's your typical length of a contract.
Well, it took with him, it took that length of time for me to feel safe to leave the relationship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us more. What do you mean?
It was an emotionally unhealthy relationship. And to be safe when I left it emotionally, I knew I had to get certain things in place.
Wow. Mhm.
Yeah.
What was the moment that made you say enough is enough? Was that a specific event, a moment, or was that something gradual that you knew that this is going nowhere?
It was a moment. And
You-
then that moment helped me to see things clearer.
Mm.
And if I had had the self-worth
Mm.
at that time, I wouldn't have chosen him as my partner. And maybe if he had his self-worth, he wouldn't have chosen me. I don't know that. But I could just say on my end,
What was that moment?
it was a moment that I wasn't treated properly.
Okay. Mm. Physically, mentally, verbally?
A little physically and especially emotionally.
Okay.
And
Mm.
I decided enough is enough.
Mm. And from that moment, was it pretty fast until things ended, or it took you still a few weeks to process and
It took me probably like a year and a half to 2 to
oh wow.
because I was afraid to leave.
Mm. What was holding you back? Was it the judgment from family? Oh, this is your second time. This is you the first person
No,
in the family to
I
get
could care less
divorced.
about. I could have
Okay.
cared. I mean, even when I would tell people I was married 3 times or 4 times, and they said, "Oh, that's awful." I said, "No, it really isn't." You know,
You should
I
try
yeah,
it.
no, but I never understood where the judgment came in because I've
Yeah.
never judged myself for that.
Mhm.
No.
You should try it. You have no idea what you're missing on.
Yeah. No, well, what I know
Mm.
is when I've been in a relationship, I've never left
Mhm.
until I knew I was ready to leave.
Mm.
Like I, for me, I've had to know that the relationship was over. And that's what with my clients, and that's really important for whether you're a man or a woman. If you're in a relationship and you're not sure if you're ready to leave, don't, unless you're being physically or emotionally abused.
Mm.
Don't leave because you want to make sure it might be something that can be resolved, and there could be growth there for both of you. And if there's love there, if there's like there, then the love can come back, as
Mm.
long as you've been respectful and kind and you care about each other, and yet people have to learn how to communicate with each other, especially when we don't know ourselves that well,
Mhm. Absolutely.
and yeah.
And then, so what was the lesson, the main lesson that you learned from marriage number two?
I would say it was, I thought the lesson was to not not accept to not be in a relationship with anyone
Mm.
that I do not feel right with.
Mm.
I can't really even tell you what it is, because I didn't learn I learned a little bit of a lesson. See, my lessons I've learned in life have been gradual.
Mhm.
Like, I'd love to tell you, oh, I learned so much, but I still didn't choose great partners. And I've always been a seeker. I just didn't know that I need to start seeking even deeper within myself, because I didn't know how to feel feelings, because I disassociated myself from my body. I couldn't get to know who I was. And I couldn't get to know how much love I have to give and how lovable I am, which is the truth with everybody, that we are all lovable. We are all here to love. We are all here to want the best for ourselves and for each other.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so it was really, as I think about it, because I don't spend time in the past. So when you're asking me these questions, it's like, great question. And that's how I feel. Like, these are great questions because I don't go there.
Why is it you don't go there?
It's not who I am anymore.
Mm.
Like when I think I told you I was in a chapter in a book, and it took me 100 hours to write it because it was about the abuse I went through
Mm.
with my grandmother, through my grandmother's maid, with those first 10 years of my life. And so
Wow.
that was a really, my next books will be different. So
Sure.
I feel really good about that.
Quick question outside of the theme of this topics, of this conversation about marriage. You said you were abused the first 10, 11 years of your life by your grandmother's maid. As awful as that was back then and going through that, what was the lesson that was trying to teach you? And what lesson did you learn through that?
Oh my God. Oh my God. What my belief is, and I know you and I talked about this briefly, is that people that come into our lives, they're here for a reason.
Even the horrible ones, yes.
And
Especially the
and
horrible ones.
especially, right, especially that. And I blocked it out of my mind
Mhm.
for decades. And when it came through and I asked about it, I was told it never happened. So, which is very common, in that situation, for someone to say that to you. And the gift of it is, here's something of which I'll share about that. So I did a lot of forgiveness with that, a
Mhm.
lot of forgiveness. I would say that's been the toughest forgiveness that I've had to do in this lifetime.
Mhm.
But
Yes.
so one day, and I was a licensed spiritual practitioner for 4 years.
Mhm.
And while I was a licensed spiritual practitioner, I was invited by a shaman to do a labyrinth. It was something that the licensed spiritual practitioners were doing that day. And the reason I'm sharing this, which is like this huge smile in my heart right now, is that this man said, all right, invite someone that's transitioned,
Mm.
that is here to help you in this lifetime around forgiveness. And this woman came in. Can you imagine?
That maid.
That maid came in, and the
Holy
level
smoke.
of love that I felt in my heart towards her, that Oh my
Wow.
God, she must have been so abused to have done what she has done, what she did while she was here on earth. And it just pure love, pure love. And, you know, and I heard her, I literally heard her, and you know that I connect to spirits, guides and people, whether they're here or whether they've transitioned. And I heard her say, you can call on me, Joanne. And I just said, thank you. You're saying that is enough. Yeah. So I can't say I'm guided to call on her because I'm really not. Okay. But the level of peace that I remember from being in that labyrinth and feeling her energy and, you know, just that deep, deep connection, you know, and that's one of the gifts that I have received in this life is the willingness to forgive,
Mm.
you know, and I would say that's one of my strengths. Forgive, like you said, don't forget. And like they say, just wipe it with sand. And I always say, and have extraordinary boundaries, you know?
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
mentioned that you become you are a hypnotherapist and you understand
I'm
you're
studying to be, I'm
oh,
studying to be a hypnotist.
yes.
And then I will, then my goal maybe will be to be a hypnotherapist.
So you
I,
you
I'm a
fully understand.
Reiki master.
Yeah.
I did cranial sacral.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you fully understand that we choose all the chapters of our lives, the main ones, the lessons. So do you believe that you chose that woman to appear in your in the first part of your life, and you add a soul contract with her, and she was doing you a favor,
I
even though
believe
at the
that
time it was horrible for you to go through that. But if you look at it from a higher perspective, from a spiritual eye, this was a beautiful lesson.
100%.
And this is why you felt that unconditional love for her, and it was very easy for you to forgive her. Wow.
But the forgiveness took time. I would
Sure,
say I
of course.
wanted, but what didn't take time is that I wanted to forgive her.
Because the ego and the grudge. Yes, we all have that. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I deeply wanted to forgive her,
Mm,
and it was more not understanding why no adult protected me.
mm,
That was the piece I kept coming back to. And yet, like you said, the when we can witness the whole piece of our life from that higher place.
And the fact that no other adults were intervening, they were actually doing you a favor to allow this to unfold. It's a play, literally. Life is a play. We all have a
Life is a
specific role. You choose, oh, I want to play this role. Who wants to come with me and play that role? Okay. And when the curtain falls, everybody behind the curtain, they high five each other. Oh, this you did well. This you did well. Okay. Next time, just be a little bit more tougher or a little bit not less tougher. Just like actors do behind the curtains,
absolute,
backstage. Yeah.
all of our beautiful energy.
Yes. Wow. That's beautiful. Let's move forward. So now, from the moment marriage number 2 ended, how long did it take you to move forward onto number 3?
That could have been, I'm just thinking years, because again, I
Okay.
don't even go there. Let me think for a moment. So we was 89, maybe about 10 years.
Really? Wow.
Could have been like 10 years. Yeah.
Mm.
You know, I had boyfriends in between there.
So you didn't go
And
into 10 years of monkhood, eh? No.
no, monkhood was not my thing.
Okay. I cannot do that. Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's where, but it was in between the two
Mm.
that I had when I lost my life.
Oh,
It was in between the two.
what happened? Tell us.
That's when I shared a little bit of it with you.
Mhm.
That's when a man I was engaged to, that I thought I could help, right? He got suicidal. His
Mhm.
divorce was going to be finalized in 2 weeks. He turned his suicidal tendencies on me and suffocated and raped me for 4 hours, left me for dead. And that's when I saw the white light. Maybe I didn't tell you that.
No, briefly,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
not details like that. Wow.
That was my that, when you say to me, well, did you learn at that point? I did learn.
Mm,
Not that I made the right choices after that completely, but I did learn. And I shared with you that I can see, I can still see, I can still feel. It's both the seeing and the feeling, the brilliant white light when we
mm,
transition.
mhm.
And I heard, it's not your time, Joanne, you have service to do. Because I said, I'm ready.
How did you hear that? Did you hear that in thoughts? Did you hear an actual voice? How did you hear that?
Feels like it's a combination of both because I hear words.
Mm,
So since that time, I've done a lot of intuitive work. And I remember I just really wanted to deepen that, so I could start to so I could learn how to trust myself more and open up to myself. So
mhm,
understanding intuitively how you feel about something is really important.
mm.
But I
Wow.
remember that, I can remember that day. It has no shapes anymore. All it has is the beautiful white light.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself going through the tunnel and traveling through universe and all that?
Yeah, it was, all I can do is go like this. Like I was there. I was there. It was definitely out of this world, out of the
When you when
physical.
you when you do this, what do you mean?
When I do this, I can literally feel and I can see all the white light around me and
Ah,
around everything and everything. Yeah.
wow. Did you have any of your, say, ascended masters or other family members that were waiting for you on the side to guide you, to tell you, hey, welcome, but it's not your time?
It's what I know is that what I was feeling and hearing was 100% welcoming. It's an energy that it doesn't really have words.
Mm,
And that level of light doesn't have words. I can tell you it was so welcoming that I felt so free.
mm,
I felt so free. And when I left when I did say to that person, give me 2 minutes so I can get my life together. And I can tell you during that time, it was just beautiful. It
mm,
was just like this soft, gentle timeline.
mm,
Very, very kind of just flowing, just flowing. Like there was no fear in my body at that moment, which is interesting, you know.
mm.
Um, very grateful to return to my body.
Wow,
Yeah, very.
powerful. So this man, you said you were engaged with him?
We had been engaged. We had known each other for 18 months.
So is that number three, or that doesn't count because it didn't go beyond the engagement?
Right. It was an engagement. We didn't go
Oh,
beyond that.
so technically six then.
Actually more, but we'll just
Oh, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. All
leave it
right.
leave
Okay,
it
that's for conversation in person around a bottle of wine, eh?
there.
All right. So after that, tell
So
us
number three.
how
So
long.
after that, I had other people,
Mm,
so there was that long time, between 2 and 3, and that was kind of like in the middle there. And 3, what I can tell you
mm,
is so if this helps any woman that has children, so I have one daughter,
mm,
and I made a decision because I thought intuitively I knew it wasn't right,
mm,
but I thought it would be good for both myself and my daughter. Yeah. So I can say that, and I can say that wasn't long, less than a year, I think.
mm.
and that wasn't a positive experience. But again, lessons, you know. So I learned a lot from that.
Mhm.
That I will make decisions that are right for me, because if it's right for me, it's right for my daughter, not the other way
Okay.
around. So I learned on that one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. And then
And then so he wasn't, wait, he must have been that's my third, the one
yes.
I just described.
Yeah.
And then the fourth I was with for about 8 years.
Okay.
The two of us said it was 10 years, but it wasn't really. I think it was closer to 8.
Mm.
And we left as friends, and we were very strongly connected
Mm.
as husband and wife, and we were together in another lifetime, I believe.
Mhm.
And and we left as friends. And the best part, oh, here's a story I want to share with you. So with this man, and I thought he would really be my final husband. I really did. And there were some parts of the relationship that were phenomenal,
Mm.
and other parts that weren't as good, but they were none of them. There was no abuse. There was no abuse, and there was a lot of love. And I started on my spiritual path, and in some ways outgrew him on certain levels. And we just kind of went different directions. And he's still a very wonderful human being. And what happened was, I was very sad at the very end, because he's probably the only guy I can think of that ever left me,
Oh
that I
wow.
was really involved with.
The one that got away, eh?
What? The one that got away, yeah. But our time together here on earth was done. And we
Mm.
both knew it. And we were
Contract was
sad.
over. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And it was sad, yet it was still beautiful. So he went online to meet someone. He met someone, and he said, well, you should go to online too. And I said, well, help me then, because I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to go online. So he helped me and helped me to get on Plenty of Fish.
Oh, okay.
And then right around the same time, probably a week or two after he met the woman that he's still with, I met the man I'm married to now.
Mm.
And I
Plenty of fish.
immediately, on Plenty of Fish, yeah. I was
Wow.
only on for 2 weeks, and I went out with I think I did like 4 guys in 2 weeks. And I knew I didn't want to date any of them more than once. When I met him, the wrong
Mm.
person, wrong person, wrong person. And when I met Dave, I could just feel his heart. This
Mm.
man has the most beautiful heart. And I loved what he wrote about, and here's a man that's took care of his mom for 9 years. In fact, she was living with him in his
Beautiful.
house when I met him, because she had Alzheimer's, and he didn't want her to go to a nursing home. Like,
That's beautiful. I love that.
yeah,
Yes.
this man has an amazing heart and soul. He's really, really special. And what happened was, so here's the story. So my fourth husband met this woman, and they were more similar at this point in their life than I was with him. It's like I prepared him to be with her,
Mm.
and like he prepared me to be with the man that I'm with now. So it's pretty cool. And they were having issues. So here I am, a relationship coach and a life coach and love coach. I helped them because they were having relationship problems. I
Mm.
had her move into our apartment, and I took the master bedroom, and they took the other one before I moved in with Dave. And I helped them to deal with an issue they had. They both say they wouldn't have gotten married if I hadn't helped them.
Mm.
So what a blessing.
Indeed. Wow.
Yeah.
So, wow. And then how did you meet Dave?
So
Oh,
I met him on Plenty of
okay, okay.
Fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Plenty of Fish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And within, so you knew right away that he is the one?
I knew right away, and we got to know each other slowly because of his mom, and he was working
Mm.
full time and had someone that was taking care of her, which was just right. And here's something, the day his mom was like, I think 92 when she transitioned. And the day that she transitioned was the day that I was moving into his house that morning.
Wow.
So it's like she gave me, like, she knew I was going to take care of her son, and I love him so much, and that
Wow.
she could be free to move on. I know, isn't that a beautiful story?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and I got to be there when she transitioned, which was
Mm,
quite a blessing.
indeed, indeed. Wow. So, so many questions. I don't know where to start. So with Dave, what is the number one thing that sets him apart from all the others?
Me first, because who I am in this
Mm,
relationship is different than who I've been in any other relationship.
mm-hmm.
And then the part about him that's different is his heart and his soul.
Mm,
Like, I knew immediately that this man it was, had nothing to do, yes, he's handsome and everything else, and I love him and
good.
he's amazing, but
Mm,
his heart, the way he feels towards humanity. And even though I'm very spiritual, right? That's my thing. I love to go deep. If I need to have a deep conversation with Dave, he's there for it. Otherwise, we laugh. We're just a beautiful complement with each other. And I'm so
wow.
grateful for that.
Hey, I'd be honored to have him on my podcast because my podcast is all about showcasing heart-centered people.
I don't think he would come on.
I was imagining having him and then do another fun podcast with both of you together. That would have been a good one.
I'll mention it, but we'll see.
All
We'll
right, all
see.
right. Keep it.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
All right. Wow. Wow. So, one time I there was a girl I knew back in high school, one of my crushes, but anyways, just between me and you. And one thing she said that I will never forget, she said, life is a school. That's the first time I heard that. Life is a school and we are here. You date guys or and girls, whatever, until it's like practice until you're good enough and you know the right person. So I said, what do you mean? But now when I look at it, I guess it was the very first time that I heard the term life is a school and everything you do is a practice.
Mm. Yeah, not many people say that too often.
And that
So
was
that's
when we
wonderful.
were both like teenagers, in high school.
That's great.
Yeah.
And the fact that you held on to that.
I never, it just, honestly, it's just now talking to you now that I put the two together. Sure, over the years, I've kept hearing that, hey, life is a school, you learn, and as you go through your spiritual awakening, you fully understand that and realize that. But then it's the first time that, hey, actually, two girls told me that growing up. But anyways, now I understand what they meant back then.
Mm.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. So for you, looking at all of your relationships, all of your, your experiences with all these men, what is the number one lesson you learned, and what is the number one lesson you want to share, tip you want to share for people to succeed in this game of love?
I love that question.
Thank you.
Take time to get to know who you are.
That's where it starts. Yes.
Learn how to forgive yourself for
Hmm.
anything,
Hmm.
and learn how to forgive everybody, like you and I are saying.
Hmm.
Let go of trying to be perfect
Hmm.
and know that you get to do your best, and know you get to also dream and imagine and desire. So to get to know who you are and what makes you really, really, really happy. What
Mm.
do you love? What kind of people do you love to be around? What makes your heart sing? What's fun for you? You know, like me, I love the ocean. Like
Oh,
Dave
yeah.
and I went to the beach on Sunday and we were jumping waves, and I was like so happy. I was like a kid in a candy shop,
Sure.
just happy, you know?
In here. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. I
And
agree.
and to know that I tell women this all the time, you're not here to settle. Would you
Mm.
settle for, if you're a woman and you choose to be with a guy, would you settle with a certain kind of woman friend? So why would you then settle for the guy that you're going to be with? You know, or what, whoever you attract, whatever it is, whichever type of person, doesn't make a difference. Let it be someone that you like and love.
Mm.
And don't leave a relationship until you know it's over. Unless you're being abused physically, emotionally, you know, that's different.
So if you haven't been abused, how do you know it's over?
Your heart knows.
Mm.
And it's really, it can feel really sad. And a
Mm.
lot, I've worked with women that say, I stayed in the relationship an extra 10 years and I shouldn't
Oh,
have.
wow. Yeah.
So when you know it's over, the most loving thing you can do is let go.
But sometimes, and I've been there, sometimes you know it's over in your heart, but you don't want to tell the other person because you care about them and you don't want them to get hurt. How do you overcome that?
I love that question because it's true. You don't, they are going to feel what they're going to feel.
Mm.
To me, it's so much less kind for one person to be in a relationship when they know they're really emotionally out of it,
Mm.
because that hurts more.
Mm.
And it's like I tell people, I really believe it's tougher to be the one to walk out of a relationship because and even though the other person feels like a victim, right? They get to, if they want to, they get to feel that you're also a victim when you let go of a relationship that you thought was going to last or that was going to work out. And so the victim part then gets to be healed because there are no victims.
Mm. Especially
You know,
if the other person truly loves you and has been really, really great to you, and you care about them deeply, but the feeling is not there anymore. And
and
that's
and you know it,
some
and you
people
know
struggle
it.
with that. Yeah.
It's and I help a lot of women with that
Mm.
because that's the place that the kindest thing you can do is really honor what your heart is feeling and having that hard conversation with the other person. There's nothing which is basically saying there's nothing you're doing wrong. It just isn't working for me anymore.
Mm.
Because then the sooner you have that difficult conversation, the more loving that really is. Otherwise, you're leading the other person on.
Mm.
And I believe as a human, we beat ourselves up emotionally when
Mm.
we stay in a relationship that we know is over. So it's taking up so much headspace, right? It's like, oh my God, I can't stay in this relationship. Well, I don't want to hurt her. Or I don't want to hurt him. And then your work, everything starts to get
Mm.
affected because you can't show up
True.
because that part of your life is just right now on hold.
Mhm.
And you may be really sad. Like I'm working with a client right now. She's really sad right now that for very specific reasons that she knows that relationship that was in cannot work for her. And even though he might be sad, she's even sadder because she had to take the step to end it.
Mm.
So it's, to me, it's about freeing each other so you can be happy. And if you can look at it that way, like that, well, it is going to be sad. I get to feel my feelings. I get to also know the good that comes with my letting go. Because I'm telling my heart, this isn't working. And at the right time, I will be with the person that's right for me. And I don't want to lead the other person on. So boy,
Mm.
are you being kind at that moment and compassionate. And the other person will handle it the way they do. And ideally, if you can still be friends, it's great. And yet sometimes you can't be. Sometimes that's harder.
I've heard some of my friends say that when they even mention that they will be ending it, the other person, the woman would say, "Oh, if you do that, I'm gonna kill myself," or something like this. You know, I know in the spur of the moment, they 99% don't mean it. It's just
It's
dramatic.
scary when someone said that.
Oh yes, I had one friend is that her ex told her that, and he couldn't sleep for a week because he cared for it and he was freaking out.
One of my husbands said that to me.
Wow.
And I said to that husband, I'm not going to tell you which one it was. And I said to that husband, I understand what you're saying. And in a while,
Mm,
there will be a time that you realize that what I'm doing is for my highest, for the best for me and for you, because you want both people to be equally in
mhm. And happy.
and and happy, absolutely. Every human being wants to be happy and healthy. We all want to feel love and loved. And the
Mhm.
best part is taking time to get to know who we are, right?
So how did you help him understand that and not do anything
Well,
stupid?
because I liked him a lot.
Yeah, sure.
I just knew that we weren't meant to be together anymore.
Mm,
So I think being kind and compassionate and caring about each other and crying together, right?
mm,
And being sad together helps because you're not going through it alone. You're going through it together.
mhm.
You know, it's kind of, it feels like it's like this payment, like a full circle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yet I believe in love. I believe in love.
We
And
all
I
do.
know, I mean, there's that love is just the best. I mean, look at how you love where you're living and we get to love so much.
I love life.
I
Life is
love life
beautiful.
too. Oh my God, I
I'm not
love
afraid of death. Doesn't mean I want to die, but I understand what death is about and I'm not afraid at all. Doesn't mean I want to die today, but because life is so beautiful. Make the
yeah.
most of it
That,
every day.
that's how I feel. I mean, because
Life
I
is
have
beautiful.
people that I love. I love being here, right? And I love life. I love waking up in the morning and
You love your projects.
what's that?
You love your projects. You know
I
what
don't
I
have
mean?
projects. I don't have those projects
No
anymore.
more. Yes, no more. No, exactly.
The infinite creator's taking care of all of that. I
Absolutely.
just didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
I mean, this was your path. This was your purpose in this life, and now this is your gift, and you went to what you had to go through to become who you were meant to be. So there's no absolutely no judgment, and this is because we're on our own journey, you know.
Exactly.
So that's a beautiful.
So I
That's
love my journey actually now, you
would you
know.
would you would you would you change anything if you were able to do it again?
There were times I would say to you that I would change something,
Mm,
but now I wouldn't tell you I wouldn't change anything.
absolutely. Same here.
Nothing.
Maybe a couple of
Nothing.
things did differently, but other than that, no, because I am who I am because of what I went through.
Exactly. And you've gone through a lot.
I wouldn't, sure, it wasn't fun going to a time when I was living on $20 a week to my name, crashing on a couch, but I would not change because, as I said earlier, these were some
It's
of my
taken you
most
to who you
happiest
are.
moments. Ironically, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
In one of the most expensive cities in the world. But yet, you know, it was challenging, yes, but it really helped me grow. And that was what I would say the genesis of my spiritual awakening. Back then I didn't know it, but now when I look back at it, I see it. Maybe a couple of things I would do differently. I get into a maybe get into Bitcoin back in 2010, 11. That would have been a
Yeah.
good thing to do, you know? Just put it, I don't know, $5,000 in it, and now it would be like a quadrillionaire or something, you know?
Exactly. That would be pretty cool. We could go back for that reason.
Yeah. If you can go
I'll
back,
join you for that one.
it would help, guide some people, maybe save my mother from ascending so early, you know,
Yeah.
things like that. But other than, I mean, yeah, that's a selfish way of looking at things. But then she was on a journey. She that happened to her because that was her contract was over and that was her exit point. When you look at it that way, one thing I read, I don't know if it's true, but I read that when someone has, for example, cancer, it's one of the most horrible ways to go. But yet I read that these people chose that as a way to prepare the loved ones that, hey, my time is coming. Be ready.
Mm.
Because if you go, let's say, on an accident suddenly with no notice, that's a worse way to go.
I know, I know.
But if
I
you
mean,
go with 5, 6 years of battling that disease, people you know, not get used to it, but are ready or more able to cope with it.
and it's interesting, sometimes around disease, a
Mm,
lot of love comes out of it.
absolutely. Me and my mother, we used to, she was a very strong woman, very, driven, and we get into arguments. And then when she was going through her disease, we became incredibly close, kind of love that
Mm.
never felt for her that before. And I miss her so much. Same thing with my father. It brings people together. Actually, that might be the reason, one of the reasons that people go through that is to bring others together, to open their hearts, make them more compassionate. And and they help in a way through their suffering, other people to grow and to start their own awakening. Because we're all here to help each other.
You're right, and it's a giving and receiving
Yeah.
piece, right?
Mhm.
Your mom going through what she went through, and you were able to give love.
Mhm.
And she was able to receive it.
Yeah.
I mean, what a beautiful aspect of something that was very difficult.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
Yeah.
Life is beautiful when you think about that. And this way, even the most horrible periods of your time, for example, you, the first 11 years getting abused by your maid, and then now that you look at it, that was a beautiful gift for you to get you on your path, on your journey. Same thing for all of us. Me going through not one, but two parents going through cancer, and then my father, at the end, he would give me the most greatest gift of all, which was to open my heart,
Mm.
to make me more. I used to say, I used to be very impatient. I used to blow up for no reason. And then now I'm much more poised, calm. Sure, sometimes I still have my bouts of, anger from time to time, but, it's a work in progress, but much better.
Right,
much
we're
better
all
than
works in progress.
Yes.
Like I tell people, you know what, if you're looking for a perfect anything, don't look at me for that, please.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Listen, Joanne, I love talking to you. You're phenomenal. You're a true gift. I really am grateful that we connected on the steering circle. It was faithful. It was meant for us to connect.
It certainly was.
For
And
you.
we have to thank your issue that you had with YouTube. That's how we connected.
Oh, yes. See? Wow. Hey, everything happens for a reason. What was the lesson? That was a lesson for Joanne and me
That
to
was
connect. Yes, yes.
absolute a tough
Wow.
one, but we did it.
I don't know if you can see, I'm getting goosebumps
It
here.
was yeah, because when I heard you say that, like immediately my heart said, "Oh, Joanne, you know someone person could actually help Payman. Let him know." And that's the gift we have to give to each other. There, everything that we go through, and I know this so deeply, deep, deep, deep in my heart. Every single experience we go through so we can help another human being with it. It's
Absolutely.
never just for us.
You just say like keep saying all the time. All the time. We all go through a fair share of pain, hardship, challenges, tragedy, heartbreaks. Sure, there's a lot when we go to them, but then that becomes our story. Then our story becomes our gift, and that gift becomes our duty and responsibility. Life is a school. We both know it. We all know it. Not only for us to learn, to grow, and become better persons ourselves, but that's only 5% of the reason we're here. The 95% is taking those gifts and sharing with others so we can all collectively rise and grow. That's why I keep saying all the time. And this is one of the main reasons I have this podcast, my books, and all that.
I know you're showing up in a way that you're helping so many people to spread their hearts,
Mm,
and you make it easy, you make it comfortable, you make it fun.
beautiful. One question that
You're
came to mind, and I asked you in a different way that question earlier, which was in the last episode that we did, which was if you go back in time and sit face to face with 18-year-old Joanne, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to her? I'm not going to ask you that because I asked you that in the previous episode. But what I want to ask you now is, looking at all the experience you have with love, with marriage and all that, what is the number one piece of advice you would give to your daughter in order to navigate this and be happy and be fulfilled?
Be true to your heart
Mm,
and listen and don't judge.
yes, makes sense. Beautiful. Do you have any
Mm.
parting tips for anyone struggling with love or anything, anyone having any, I don't know, any
Yeah,
parting tips?
I do. I do. I want to just tell the women out there that if I gave up on love, I
Mm,
wouldn't have just been with the most amazing man that we're in our 11th year, and every day waking up with him, going to sleep with him, laughing together, holding each other, hugging each other, liking each other wouldn't be taking place.
mhm,
And so give yourself permission to be happy.
mhm.
And when I say don't settle when you know that somebody isn't right for you. That's settling.
Yes.
And
Don't
be
get
open
pressured.
to, what's that?
Don't get pressured by society, people, or anything like family,
Or
whatever.
time or age or anything. You're
Yeah,
never too old.
yeah.
You're never too old. You're never too anything. You're just right for you, and your path is exactly what's right for you.
You're meant.
Wherever you are is where you're meant to be. And just give yourself permission to get clarity with what's going to make you happy. Because it's not the other person that's going to make you happy. It's going to be fulfilling it within your heart with you, whatever's important to you. That's where
Mhm.
you have to go. And when you go there and then you're in a partnership with someone, you're not looking to fix them. That was my big lesson. You're looking to just be part of a partnership and
Yes.
to listen and to communicate and to love and to, people will always say to me, well, you have to compromise in a relationship.
Mm,
And I don't believe that. I believe that you may change, you may decide to do something because it makes the other person happy.
mhm.
And that makes you happy. That's the reason why you're doing it, because you want to see them happy too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Wow. Beautiful. And just like anything in life, business, whatever, don't give up, especially on your dreams.
Wow.
Because each
That
failure, each lesson, you're just one step closer to a yes or to what you want, to your success. And notice how that applies to me as well. So don't give up. Keep going, brother. Come on, you got this.
exactly. And to me too. And to
All of
all
it.
of us,
Yes.
to all of us. And Payman, your books, you're on your second book, right?
Yes.
So you've done so much with your podcasts are amazing, and the way you
Thank you.
help people to share their voice, to share their gifts.
It's what I do. This is what I believe one of my purposes, my gift to this world is to bring together people, to inspire them, to empower them, to come share their gift to the world, to believe in themselves, to realize that, hey, their voice matters, their story matters, they matter. Because no matter how insignificant you might feel that you might be, no, that's not true. You have a ton of wisdom, you as in general, to share all the everything you add to overcome. That's a powerful story. That's an amazing collection of lessons, of gifts to share. And now is the time to share them in whatever way is the most comfortable for you. For me, it's through speaking, to my books. Someone else maybe through music, to painting, to dance, to whatever. Just go out there and share your gifts to the world. Because that's why
I
we're
love that
here for it.
message.
Yeah.
The beautiful message.
And you, Joanne, not only you have a ton of gifts, but you yourself are a gift. So keep shining your light. I truly salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep keep blessing the world with your presence, with your impact, with your love, with your smile, with your happiness, with the joy, with your impact, with your lessons, your gifts. Stay safe, stay awesome. God bless you, my beautiful friend. You're amazing.
God bless you, my beautiful friend, too. Thank you,
Thank you.
Payman.
Very welcome. One last question. If someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Best way, so so I have WhatsApp. I do WhatsApp. And And I also I have my email. So I'll give you all of that. And I have my website if they want to look at my website.
Okay.
And if there's anything I've said to them, and if I have room, I would love to offer a discovery call if they want one. And it's always all about the person.
Mhm.
So
What's
it's a
your
win-win.
website?
Website is www.pathways,
Mhm.
PATHWAYS, TO, pathways to relationships, plural.com. And then you see the word store in there, which has nothing to do with me.
Pathways,
To relationships.com.
found you.
You see the word store? That's how you know you spelled it right.
Ah, Joanne, I see. Okay, that's you. Okay, I see it's you. Okay. Oh, beautiful picture. Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, beautiful. Very welcome. Listen, send me all and any of the links you want me to share in the show notes. I'll gladly post them there. Listen,
Thank you.
me and you, we can talk for hours and hours. We gotta find a topic to bring you back because I just love having you on the podcast. So talk to Dave, okay?
Okay, I'll talk to Dave. We'll see.
All right. And listen,
Thank
have a
you so
wonderful
much, Dave.
day. Sorry for you, it's evening, and well, for your trip, I know it's gonna be a fun one to Paris. And
Thank you.
we'll talk before that because I want to give you some.
That sounds excellent. I look forward
All right,
to
my
it.
friend, have a fantabulous evening. Keep shining your light. Take care and keep blessing
Thank
the
you,
world.
baby.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye bye.